An agile anti-pattern that I see very often is when a single team is working on multiple projects with multiple clients at the same time and switching between them frequently. I often get this question: how do we manage our workload and show progress to our clients when working on more than one project at the same time? By the end of this video, you'll get the answer to this question and also a step-by-step guide on how to manage multiple projects at the same time with a single team. I'll be honest, there's a lot of things wrong with this approach, starting with a lack of focus. Focus is one of the 5 values of the Scrum framework, and for a good reason. Focus in everything you do is extremely powerful. As Bruce Lee once said, "I fear no man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." A Scrum team should always focus on a single project at a time, or even better, a single product. Scrum should be about products, not about projects, but more on this later. The whole purpose on why we do Agile, why we do Scrum, it's all about early and continuous delivery of valuable software every single sprint to the customer. But you can't do that if you're constantly switching between different products, between different projects, between different contexts every single sprint. Your mind simply doesn't work this way. Let's say you're in the zone, you're coding for project 1 and someone needs you for project 2 to do testing, to test something. It will take around 20 minutes for your mind to get back in the zone so that you can start coding project 1 again. And the same thing happens at a higher level. You will never be able to be as effective working on 3 projects at the same time as you would focusing on a single, laser focus on a single project. Managers think that people can do that because they are managing multiple teams, so they are constantly going from supporting one team in a meeting to another meeting to another meeting, different teams. They can do that, so developers should be able to do that. No, it doesn't work that way. Developers actually output something. They do creative work. They need to focus. They need to get in the zone. And it's a total, huge waste of time moving from one thing to another. And it gets even worse. One thing to keep in mind is running multiple projects at the same time with a single team will kill your schedule. Yeah, let's say you're running 5 projects at the same time with a single team, and each one of these projects takes 3 months to complete. So you're starting at the same time, you're running everything at the same time, and you'll finish also at the same time 15 months later. I've even seen, because you're dealing with multiple stakeholders, let's say each one of these projects, multiple stakeholders, I've even seen people do 5 sprint reviews, 5 daily scrums. Yeah, dealing with multiple stakeholders. What a nightmare. The second scenario is running the projects one after the other, the Agile way or the Scrum way of doing things. You'll still finish the last one of these projects after 15 months, but this time you're finishing the first one only after 3 months because you're focusing on a single one at a time. Only after 3 months. Just imagine the impact on the customer or the actual business, the stakeholders, when you tell them that you'll finish the first one after 3 months instead of 15 months. 15 months you're finishing after 3 months. You'll be able to collect feedback from customers way sooner, implement this feedback way sooner, and you might even realize that the 4 other projects are way waste of time because the return of investment on the first project is so huge because it was a priority. That's why you started with that. Another big pain point is how do we manage skill and knowledge? The skills and knowledge required to work on multiple projects at the same time. A Scrum team should be cross-functional, meaning that they have all the skills and knowledge to be able to release every single sprint a working increment for each one of these projects because you're doing it at the same time. How do we ensure that the team is cross-functional? It's pretty hard to do when working on multiple things because you need so many skills, so many knowledge, so many different applications that you're using to code. How do we ensure that we have all this skill? You can't do that. There's no easy way to do that. I've seen teams continuously adding people to a single Scrum team. Instead of 10 people, the team is like 30 people because they're working on 5 projects at the same time when they could have split the team into different small teams and focus on a single project. No, let's have a single big team work on 5 projects at the same time if the team is like 30 people. That's a communication nightmare. After all this, if you still want to run multiple projects at the same time with a single team, if you insist in doing that, you can still implement a few tweaks to make things better. It will never be as good as focusing on a single project, but you can still make a few tweaks to try to make things better. Starting with multiple product owners, each one having their own project, should never work with a single team. A single team, a single product owner. That's what Scrum is all about, because a single product owner gives priority. A single backlog, product backlog, a single sprint backlog, and a single product owner. Just imagine how handling multiple product owners in a single team, where would priority come from? The team would simply switch from different contexts, different projects over and over again, multiple times a day, running like headless chickens. In the scenario that you have a single product owner in a Scrum team, but working on multiple projects at the same time, some product owners like managing multiple product backlogs. I don't like that. I'd like a single backlog, a single sprint backlog. It's way better, even for the product owner. Just forget about the developers for a second. But even for a product owner, it's way better to define priority when you have a single source of truth for a priority, a single backlog. If you have multiple backlogs, how do you even define the priority? Another tip that I like a lot is interleaving sprints. As mentioned earlier, Scrum has a focus on products, not projects. The goal of a sprint should be to release an increment, working increment every single sprint. In the previous scenario, we are working on 5 projects at the same time and releasing the first and last one at the same time 15 months later. Why not try to rotate between products or projects every single sprint or every 2 sprints? So you're releasing something every month for one product, collecting feedback, and then working on something else and collecting feedback. So you're releasing every single month. You're working on multiple things at the same time, but you're releasing every single month. Isn't it better to get that feedback, to get feedback from customers? Just imagine your customers and stakeholders, we are seeing a release every single month instead of 15 months later. Which brings me to my next point. If you want more tips, insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.